In case you missed it, the government announced sweeping mortgage changes coming into effect December. Stick around for my personal advice at the end of this video if you're buying or selling in 2025. But for now, let's dive into this month's market update. September brought a market slowdown, but demand for detached homes remains strong. With more homes to choose from and many taking longer to sell, buyers now have the advantage, meaning many sellers may have to rethink their price or get comfortable playing the waiting game. With that in mind, let's take a look at total sales. A total of 521 residential homes were sold through the MLS system in Waterloo region in September. This represents a decrease of 2.1% compared to the same time last year, and a decrease of nearly 25% compared to the average number of homes sold in the previous 10 years for the same month. Total residential sales in September included 336 detached homes, 32 semis, 95 townhomes, and 57 condo units. So that gives us a good overview of activity. Let's take a look at price. The average sale price for all residential properties in Waterloo region was just under $789,000, up almost 3% compared to September of 2023 and up 2.3% compared to August 2024. The average sale price for a detached home was just over $910,000. Semis were just under $655,000, while townhomes were just over $595,000. And apartment-style condos were just over $483,000. Now, let's wrap it up with volume. There were over 1,300 new listings added to the MLS system in KW and area in September, which is down 6.5% compared to September of 2023, but actually up 20% compared to the previous 10-year average for September. There were 1,751 homes available for sale in an active status at the end of September. This is an increase of over 21% compared to September of 2023 and up 42.2% compared to the previous 10-year average of 1,232 listings for September. There were 3.2 months of inventory at the end of September, an increase of 23.1% compared to last year. Condo apartments had the highest inventory with 5.5 months supply, followed by townhomes with 3.6 months supply, and detached homes with 2.7 months supply. Which means at the current rate of sales for the respective categories, it would take quite a long time to sell off the current inventory. The average number of days to sell in September was 28, which is 3 days longer than the previous month and 10 days longer than the previous 5-year average of 18 days. So days on market is going up. All right, a lot's been happening over the last few months in real estate. Interest rates are inching down. They're calling for another interest rate reduction of potentially 50 basis points or 0.5% in a couple weeks from now in October. The new mortgage rules are coming into effect mid-December. We'll see how that transpires into 2025. You can check out our other video going through that in a little bit more detail. If we look at what's happening from an economic standpoint, the economic factors are not great, but the interest rate factors and the bonus of the mortgage rules being loosened up and more inviting to more buyers to get into the market, this for me is screaming a little bit bullish for 2025. But I think if we get a couple more interest rate reductions, it's really gonna entice a lot of the buyers that have been sitting on the fence for the last 18 to 24 months, holding off until things stabilize a little bit more. If interest rates come down, I think we're gonna see a climb in prices next year. Will it go back to 2022 levels at the peak? I don't think so. I think it'll take years to get back to that. But I do think 2025, the early spring market is gonna be chaotic, especially if there's not a ton of inventory on the market. So if you're thinking about selling your home in the spring, perhaps entertain listing it a little bit earlier, potentially at the end of January, February, or even getting into the end of February. Wait and see what the market's doing with inventory levels. Talk to your agent, get informed on what's happening. And most importantly, if you're thinking this far ahead, maybe get in touch with someone, figure out what the value of your home is now, figure out where it could potentially be, again, speculatively, and figure out what to do to improve the showability and saleability of your home. Things like decluttering, things like painting, Remember, we don't do major rentals because there's no guarantee of return on investment, and there's a lot of effort to potentially gamble and get that money back and potentially make a profit. In most cases, you won't. So doing the simple, superficial things like painting, decluttering, those will have the highest ROI in my opinion. Now, if you're buyers, the advantage is in your court right now. There's lots of inventory. Homes are taking longer to sell, but I do think that that will swing in the next coming months. So you have to be prepared to potentially get into more competitive scenarios as we get into 2025. But if you're thinking of buying now in the next few months, it could be a great opportunity for you with lots of months of inventory of specific homes in condos, there's almost 6 months of inventory in the condo segment. So if you're a first-time home buyer or potentially even looking at an investment long-term, this might be something to entertain, and you've got lots to pick from. There's unfortunately sellers that are hurting now. They want to offload those properties. So there are potential deals to be made in that segment. Now, if you're in the detached home category or potentially semis or townhomes, things are a little bit different. The landscape is moving a little bit quicker in those departments, but be patient, wait and see. Don't be overexcited for a property, especially if you aren't constricted to a specific neighborhood or specific square kilometer of where you want to live. There's a lot more options out there that could check all of your boxes. So let me know in the comments below what you think is going to happen with the Bank of Canada interest rate announcement on October 23rd. Have a happy Thanksgiving, happy Oktoberfest. We'll see you next month. Pros.